Back in 2018, using a stretched resolution would give you a pretty significant advantage, as when you lowered your X resolution, this would stretch your vertical FOV, massively improving your visibility, so you could see way more than someone could on native resolution. Like, take this comparison on screen, you can see why it became so popular back then, and as you'd expect, every pro was using it to get ahead of the competition. However, fast forward to the 26th of March 2019, where Fortnite, in the competitive development update, decided to nerf stretched resolution in order to protect the competitive integrity of the game. They did this by applying a default FOV of 80 to accommodate the following reasons on screen, which basically removed the 4:3 aspect ratio, also removing the beloved extra vertical FOV, to currently lock on the aspect ratio at 16:9. So now, when you do lower your X-res, this will only stretch the 16:9 aspect ratio, meaning only the horizontal FOV gets stretched, which does result in actually a loss of FOV. Now, how much FOV lost is actually dependent on the stretched resolution. The lower you go, the more FOV you will lose, but at the same time, this can have the advantage of making player models look bigger as they're more stretched out. Overall though, after these changes were made, I'm not sure why Fortnite couldn't have just implemented an FOV slider. I myself have been making concepts on an FOV slider, showing how it could work in game, and basically asking for this implementation for years and years. However, today, sadly, it is not in the in-game settings, so stretched res will have to do at the minute. That's why you see many pros still to this day using a stretched resolution, with one of the most popular players being Peterbot. He is actually one of the best players right now. He recently won FNCS. He's just overall insane at the game, and he's currently using a stretched res of 1720 by 1080. It's a great looking res, it's not too far off native, and it gives amazing performance gains. But if you yourself want a stretched resolution like this on screen, there's actually 3 different methods to do it, but in this video I'll only be covering 1 and 2 for ease. On your desktop, you want to press the Windows key and R at the same time. Inside here, paste in the %, local, app data, and then the % again. Then press F and find the Fortnite game, go into saved, config, Windows client, then you'll find your config file, that's the game user settings file. Now before you go ahead and modify this, right click on it, go into show more options, then properties, and ensure that the read only box has been unchecked right now. After that, you can go ahead and open it up. Once inside here, if you scroll down to near the bottom, you should find 2 resolution sections right here. You want to go ahead and customize both of these to have matching X and Y values of your desired stretched resolution. You can see I've already done it here with the first one, and then here with the second one. Remember, if you want to revert, you can change these back to native. After you've done that, you can click file and then save, and if you go back to your game user settings, you can go ahead and right click on it, show more options, go into properties, and make sure to actually select the read only this time, as this prevents Fortnite from changing the settings back to default or native when you do open up the game. This essentially locks it in when you do click apply. But do remember, if you want to go back to native, you need to uncheck this right here. After that though, back on your desktop, just right click on it and go into show more options and select the NVIDIA control panel. If that doesn't work, go into the Microsoft Store and just type it in here and you'll see it, and then you can access it from here. Or if you've got the NVIDIA app, inside here on the left hand side, if you go into settings, then scroll down to the very bottom, you'll actually see the NVIDIA control panel inside of this, and all you have to do is literally open it. Once opened, if you go over to the left hand side under change resolution, inside here, make sure your main gaming monitor is selected, make sure you've got the highest refresh rate, and then under where it says customize, click that button. Then if you go down to the bottom, make sure this is ticked right here, and then click create custom resolution. And then inside here is where you can actually make your custom resolution. And then once you've went through that entire process, here is where you can actually select the resolution in itself. If you want to go back, you can just scroll down and select your native resolution. Once you've done that though, head over to adjust desktop size and position, and inside here, to prevent any issues like black bars, select your main gaming monitor, make sure a full screen is selected. I think by default it's on either aspect ratio or no scaling. Make sure a full screen is selected. After that, make sure the GPU is selected, as we are GPU scaling. You'll use display for the other method that I was on about earlier, but for this one, make sure GPU is selected and override the scaling mode set by games and programs. It's important you select this too. Then finally, you can go back in the resolution page and select your stretched resolution. And now if you open up the game, you now have a stretched resolution. If you want to get the OG stretched res though, with the vertical FOV like it used to be, you can actually do it in game. Just head to the the top right corner on that search bar, type in stretched res, and you'll find the OG stretched resolution map by Orange. Inside this map here, you can actually experience all of the old stretched resolutions before that nerf obviously talked about earlier in this video. So the default one here is native, which is an FOV of 80. Then we've got all of the older popular resolutions, with the most popular one back then being at the very end. But if I go ahead and select the 1680 by 1080, you can see that vertical FOV stretch right there. That obviously gives you the extra FOV. And oh my god, do I miss this. Just being able to see my character's feet is amazing. It gets better though. This was one of the most popular ones too, the 1440. I myself actually used to rock this one, as I found it to be a happy medium, but you can see just how good this one is. And what's great about this map is you can actually 1v1 on any like specific resolution of your choosing. I've also got the 1280 by 1080. Mongrel used to use this a lot. Obviously more so, he used to use the 1080 by 1081. But this one was still really popular. This one you can see loads, the FOV is great on it. And then the final one is 1080 by 1080. Probably everyone's favorite and the one that's like mostly remembered. This one was just great and the vertical FOV was just crazy on it. So yeah, check out this map if you do want to experience what the older stretched resolutions felt like before Epic Games did nerf them for competitive integrity and these following reasons on screen, which in my opinion are a bit silly, like motion sickness. I don't really think anyone got motion sickness using this stretched res, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. But right now, like I mentioned earlier, this map right here is the closest thing we'll get to an FOV slider, unless Fortnite do implement what I myself and many other people in the competitive community have suggested, and that is an FOV slider like this on screen. They literally could implement it. They could start from 80, which is the default, and then have options where you can gradually increase it. I also think as well that this would also accommodate their overall concerns with the original like OG stretched resolution. I think viewing wise, FOV slider would be great as the resolution is the same, it's just the FOV that's higher. Motion sickness again I don't think would be an issue as it is the same resolution. There won't be any of that blurry like ugliness of using a lower stretched res. And then performance as well, I think that will just be the exact same if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, I'd love to know what you think in the comment section below. Before you go, feel free to drop a like on the video, drop a sub on the channel, and use my code in the item shop if you do purchase anything. Before you go as well, feel free to check out any of my other videos that are on screen right now.